Hello, y'all. This is Prime Gamer 3285, and I just want to do a review of my Autobot friend, Bumblebee. Now Bumblebee made his first appearance in Transformers Generation One. He took the form of a yellow Volkswagen, a Beetle. He took the form of a Beetle, and before he took the form of a Beetle, he was he was a Cybertronian car. He was on a Cybertron. But when he landed the Earth with Optimus, Teletron 1 was scanning their vehicle forms, so they could be disguised as vehicles. He took the form of a Beetle in a G1 animated series. Also, later on in G1, he was known as the name as Goldbug. He had like an upgrade. He sort of had like that thing like Optimus, the thing that go over his mouth. He was called Goldbug. He was sort of made over, and he was called Goldbug. And I think it was like the last season of Generation One, Transformers Generation One. He was really tough. In my opinion, and he was like a small. He seemed really small, but he was really like agile, very quick, and cool, And his guardian was Spike in the G1 animated cartoon. But he also made his debut in the Transformers live action movie, and he was the guardian of Sam. Now in the Transformers live action movie, he didn't take the form of he took the form of a Camaro. First, he took the form of an old Camaro, but it started out as he was the first Autobot they introduced in Transformers 1, which was really cool. And it was when Sam and his dad went to get Sam's first car. They went to the car dealership, and Bumblebee was so happened to be there. Like he was right next to the car. They did like a tribute, like right next to the car that was next to Bumblebee, which was the new Camaro. You had the G1. You had his old car mode, which was the Beetle. But in the live action movie, he took the form of Camaro. Then he also scanned the 2007 Camaro. He upgraded, later on in the movie. But I really like both versions, in my opinion. To be honest, I like the G1 Bumblebee. He was really cool. But I also like the live action movie Bumblebee. And I kind of like how they changed him a little bit. Like he talks through the radio. I like how he talks. Also felt that he was more funnier in the live action movie, like his personality. And I also feel that in the live action movie, he was more tougher. His personality seemed like he was a little more vicious. He was tougher. He was really tough. Like he took out Soundwave in Transformers Dark of the Moon. Now he made a lot of appearances in Transformers comics. He made his first appearance in G1, but he also made his other appearances in Transformers Animated, Transformers Prime, and also a lot of the Transformer comic books. And he also made many appearances in Transformers Robots in Disguise. And he's a very popular character. And he was also inspired by other characters, which was Hotshot. Hotshot was actually a character that was based off of him. Hotshot. That's how popular he was. And I really like his design. I'm a big fan of Bumblebee. He's very tough. He may be kind of small, but he's very tough, especially in the live action movie. I feel like he was more tougher than his G1 counterpart, which I'm not saying he wasn't tough in G1, but I felt like he was more tougher and more funnier in the live action movie. And he was also the guardian. He was Sam's protector, guardian, And I think Sam is basically, the Sam character is basically supposed to be like Spike, you know what I mean? But I really love, my two favorite versions of Bumblebee is the G1 and the live action movie Bumblebee. I do like the Transformers Prime Bumblebee and the Robots in Disguise Bumblebee, but my two favorite is the live action movie Bumblebee. I really liked him. He was really tough. Like, he took out so many. He took out Rampage. He's really tough, especially on his own. He's very tough. Like, he has that. He's tough. He's really tough. He even threw down with Drift. Him and Drift were fighting, and he made a lot of appearances in the live action movie. He was in Transformers 1, the 2007 live action movie directed by Michael Bay. He was in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. He made his second appearance in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. He was in Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon. He was also in Transformers Age of Extinction. In Age of Extinction, they sort of redesigned him, along with Optimus. You know what I mean? Also, he's a survivor. He was a survivor in G1, and he was also a survivor, a hardcore survivor in the live action movies too. You know what I mean? One thing I could say about Bumblebee is that he's tough and he always survives. He's a survivor. You know what I mean? And he's not afraid to go into battle. He's not afraid to battle any Decepticon, no matter how big they are. And he was very determined to fight, you know what I mean? And he had different weapons. He had the blaster, the Bumblebee blaster. He had like different weapons, He had like the Bumblebee, he had like a hammer that he used in Transformers The Last Night, He also appeared in Transformers 5. Now, they're also coming out with a Bumblebee movie, which is really cool. It's supposed to take place in the 80s, and it's supposed to be a prequel. But some people, it's rumors that it's supposed to be a reboot. Now, I'm not sure if that is, but, I want to know from my subscribers down below, is it supposed to be the reboot, or is it supposed to be, But he is getting his own movie. That shows how popular Bumblebee is, That shows how his character stays irrelevant for all these years, A lot of people love Bumblebee, a lot of kids too, And he's definitely a fan favorite. He's one of my favorites too. And he's friends with Optimus Prime, it's all about leader. He's friends with Ratchet, he's friends with Ironhide, he's friends with Jazz, you know what I mean? He's really close with Sideswipe, Sunstreak, Mirage, and all, all of them, Prowl, He's been battling alongside his Autobot brothers since the final days of Cybertron, And he's a really tough character, And I want to make a shout out to my subscribers, and I just want to say God bless you all, and I just want to know, what's your favorite version of Bumblebee? Is it the G1 version of Bumblebee? Is it the comic book version of Bumblebee? Is it the live action movie Bumblebee? Is it Transformers Prime Bumblebee version? Or is it Robots in Disguise? Like, which version of Bumblebee is your favorite? And what's your favorite Bumblebee moment? I have a lot of moments with Bumblebee, but that I can say that I like about Bumblebee, a lot of great moments. But my favorite versions is, like what I said, is the live action movie Bumblebee. I thought he was really tough and really cool. He was no joke. I also like the G1 Bumblebee, And I like the Prime Bumblebee too. But it's a toss-up between G1 and live action. I feel like the live action Bumblebee is a little more tougher than his G1 counterpart. And I felt like he was a little more bigger, a little more taller. Not that much, but a little bit more, from his design, And I liked all Bumblebee's designs, from the G1 animated cartoon, from him being Goldbug, later on at the end of G1, the final season, from live action movies, how they redesigned them with each part. I love how he takes the form of different versions of the Camaro, know what I mean? And we getting a Bumblebee movie, so that shows how popular he is, you know? He's just as popular as Optimus Prime, you know what I mean? You know, that shows how popular he is, you know? And he's very tough. He has that, you know, he has that strong warrior mentality to fight, you know? He's very tough, you know what I mean? I really like the live action movies, Bumblebee. I think I have to say it's probably a toss-up between Transformers 2, Bumblebee, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, and Age of Extinction. I really like his Age of Extinction design, you know, because his design was like more different from the other movies, especially how his face looked, you know. I felt like he had more black in his design in Age of Extinction, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's like a toss-up. I do like the Transformers 1 Bumblebee as well. But, you know, I love all his designs. But, yeah, it's like a toss-up, you know. But I just want to know for my subscribers, what's your favorite version of Bumblebee? You know, he made a lot of appearances in a lot of comic books, you know, and G1, you know what I mean? He was in the G1 animated movie, which was the first Transformers movie ever made. He made his appearance in the Transformers live action movie. You know, he was in the sequel, he was in the third part, he was in the fourth part, he was even in the last night, you know what I mean? So that shows how popular he is, and that shows how, you know, he's a survivor, you know. That's one thing I can say about Bumblebee. He always survives. He always finds a way to survive alongside Optimus and, you know what I mean, and Hound. He's a survivor, you know, and I really like his character because he had sort of like that kid side of him, but he's tough, you know. Like when it comes down to fighting, he gets serious, you know. But when he's chilling with Sam or Spike, you know what I mean, when he's chilling with Sam, he's like a kid, you know. He's cool, he be chilling, and I just love the bond between him and Sam. Mostly through the movies, you know, I felt like their bond was just incredible, you know. Their bond was like no other. I love the bond between Sam and Bumblebee, and I have to say I miss that, you know, because I really love the live action movies, but I really love the bond, you know. You know what I mean? It was just a cool bond, you know. And I'm trying to remember, they said one of the directors that did the movie, the live action movies, I think it was Steven Spielberg, he was saying the bond between Sam and Bumblebee is like the bond between it's sort of like the bond between I think it was kind of like R2 and Luke Skywalker. It was sort of like the bond between that. I'm trying to remember. It was they said something. They said that but they bond was just as great as the bond from another movie. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, but I really loved the bond between Sam and Bumblebee. You know, I really liked that. I liked that he was his protector. He was his guardian. You know, also. He wasn't afraid to fight. He took out, he defeated Soundwave, he defeated Rampage, he defeated many of the Decepticons, you know. He took out many of them, you know. He got badly damaged by Starscream, but he kept on fighting, you know. Even when he lost some of his legs, his limbs, he still kept on fighting to the very end. He took out Brawl,